The ending parts of this chapter is what I love about Fairy Tail. These are my favorite things about Fairy Tail, and these are probably the best things about Fairy Tail that got me so pumped and excited. I am like, fuck yes. For the 400 chapter, Hiro Mashima is making sure that he makes it a special event that we're not going to forget, and I am fucking pumped. Hell's motherfucking yeah. Acnologia versus Igneel. Oh my fucking god. But before we get into all of that regarding the epic parts of the chapter from like midway through on, I need to talk about some of the beginning bits. The beginning of the chapter opens up and we find out that there's 32 minutes left until Face activates, even though clearly at last week's chapter it was stated that it's seconds away from activating. So an inconsistency there, or a character miscalculated, or Face is just all fucking weird. I mean, it's always something else with this fucking thing. So that was one thing that I noticed about this chapter. I was kind of like, oh, bummer, a little bit of an inconsistency. The Erza versus Kyoko fight, when they had a clash and blood seemingly came out of Kyoko when Erza stabbed her, but for the most part there really wasn't no progression on that fight in a sense, because it looked like Kyoko was ready to go again until they started hearing the tremblings of the ground. But in all honesty, it was kind of like, we just got to see a little bit more of them clash. And again, like, I'm not with the highest expectations, especially after this chapter where Erza is still dominating and bossing. It's not like she's fucking up Kyoko, because Kyoko is still smiling and ready to go. But yeah, we didn't really get much progression on that fight. And we also find out that in the base that seemingly fell down or something, there's still more people left inside from Fairy Tail. So I don't know if those people are really injured or what's going to happen with them, but definitely something needs to happen, because even Wendy was like, oh yeah, Warren and I think Lisana might still be in there as well. So I don't know if they escaped in the nick of time or something, but yeah, there were still people left in there, and I believe, if I'm correct, Elfman and Lisana were still in the middle of a battle, so that's kind of fucked up. Like, can somebody get them out of there? But from the moment Wendy drops on the ground, goes in the fetal position and starts shaking, and Doran is like, what's wrong? What's this sound I'm hearing? And you see all the Dragon Slayers one by one, how they're hearing the sound, this voice. I was like, oh my fucking god, please tell me it could be him. Please! And hands down, my favorite, and I think the best villain, or I don't know what you want to call it, this beast, the Acnologia showing up. Oh my fucking god. Incredibly great setup. Probably the best setup you can do in Fairy Tail between him and Zeref. Those are the best setups you can do, especially bringing them back in. We know out of all the villains we've ever seen in Fairy Tail, Acnologia is pretty much one of the only motherfuckers that would not go down to no bullshit. He wrecked them. They had to get some Mavis spirit to bring them back. So to see Acnologia here, I was like, fuck yes. I thought it would have been a little bit better if everyone on Tenrojima would have been able to hear him. That way it would have been like, holy shit, you know, them getting flashbacks of what happened on that island. Because you could tell that, at the very least, the Dragon Slayers, especially Wendy, this little girl, which she's kind of like going back into that position of, oh shit, I'm a little girl. When she went into that fetal position, it looked like she was trembling and shit. But like, you could tell that he left some trauma behind. Like, these people stood like, I don't want to fuck with him. And it's like, oh my gosh, can we get guild arts in this bitch? If we get guild arts in this bitch, this will definitely be, no questions asked, the best arc in Fairy Tail. Because with Acnologia, come on. But one of the interesting things is Margear doesn't look like he's happy to see him. So you can definitely see that the Acnologia doesn't play well with others. Probably even Zeref doesn't fuck with him or some shit like that. Because I remember when we were in Tenrojima and Zeref said something along the lines of, oh, the time is coming, doom is near. It didn't look like he was really like that chummy, like he was gonna go say hello to the Acnologia. So it might be that the Acnologia don't fuck with nobody. He don't give a fuck. He's not coming there like Margear's rescue. He might be coming there to fucking eat their demon spaceship thingy that they had. So who the fuck knows what the Acnologia is coming for? But it definitely is noticeable that Margear is like, what could he be here for? Is he just following Zeref? Like, what's going on? So the fact that the main villain, or one of the main villains, is even kind of scared of what's to come really leads you to believe that, like, the Acnologia, he's in a league of his own. He's not, like, there to be, you know, one of Zeref's demons or whatnot. He is there to fucking be the demon king. But it also makes you wonder as well, is this whole thing with him showing up going to cancel out any possibilities of End showing up? Or is End an acronym for like literally the end of times or some shit, some crazy shit like that? Because if not, then what else, who would N be, and is he even going to have a role, or a significant role for that matter? Because now it looks like we're getting the biggest of big villains there. So what would really be the need to bring in End as well, when the Acnologia already is going to give everyone their hands full? Like, I don't give a fuck. I do not think, especially after we've seen what happened in the Dragon Festival arc, I don't think that even all the Dragon Slayers combined can really do much to the Acnologia. I mean, we've seen last time what happened, and while they've, granted, they've probably gotten stronger, and they have a couple more Dragon Slayers with them, with Sting and Rogue, ultimately, I just don't see, like, them being able to do much against this motherfucker, and I can't wait. But there's more! The setup at the end with Igneel saying, has the time come? So it really makes me think, like, what the fuck is going on with Igneel? Has he been in this world this entire time, and he's just been chilling out in some volcano? That's why nobody's ever seen him? If so, could that mean that some of the other dragons as well, like Wendy's dragon, and, you know, Sting and Rogue, well, no, Sting and Rogue, I think, like, one of them were killed, and the other one, like, something like that. I think they're actually dead, so Sting and Rogue's dragons are probably gone, but could Godzilla's dragons still be around? Like, are they within the elements that they are? It makes you really question something, because up to this point, I had just assumed, okay, all the dragons, maybe they're from the past, and that's where Natsu and all of them came from, and that's why we don't ever get to see them, and the Acnologia is the exception. He's been, like, buried underground or some shit, so whenever he comes back around, nobody can really, like, you know, fuck with him, so he's been around for a long time. But maybe Igneel this entire time has just been hiding out in this volcano, maybe because he's old and he needs the heat. It really raises questions, and the fact that he's just there, the setup right now, where it could potentially be for chapter 400, Igneel versus the Acnologia, oh my fucking god, this is the best stuff in Fairy Tail. This is probably the best chapter of the year. It's between this and the stuff with Lucy and the Celestial Spirit King. It's like, I don't know which one, but this was a hands down great setup chapter. I would have given this one a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for that inconsistency in the beginning with the time. It's like, fuck this face countdown bullshit already. Also, the Erza versus Kyoka fight didn't really get much progression, and it's like, Erza's so far seemingly on top as I predicted, but still nonetheless, a great setup chapter. I'm giving this one 9 out of 10 because I am so fucking pumped for Acnologia to find out some of his motives again. From what we know thus far, looks like Mark Gear isn't too pleasantly happy about this. He, you know, has a drop of sweat coming down his face, so he don't know what the fuck is gonna go on. Also, Igneel is there, so that means that with him saying, could it be time, that's definitely indicating that Igneel is indeed in our world, and he is within reach of coming to aid them against the Acnologia. So a lot of fucking hype shit is coming up, and I'm like, Hiro Mashima, you know how to make a 400 chapter very fucking exciting when you're bringing in the beasts of all beasts, one of the best fucking villains of Fairy Tail, the Acnologia. I don't know if you call him a villain, whatever you want to fucking call him, antagonist, whatever. This fucking monster, I'm excited to see him back again. This time, no more Mavis Shield. Let's see some real fucking carnage. Let's see him eat Kyoka alive and fucking rip Mark Gear in two and just go ape shit. Let me know what you thought of this chapter. Are you fucking pumped for the Acnologia? What do you think Igneel is all about? Do you think he's actually in this world and he's just hiding out on some volcano? What is the Acnologia coming here for? Is he like, I'm the fucking king motherfucker up in this bitch, ain't no other demons gonna stop me? And do you think that they stand a chance against him? Do you think that honestly, if let's just say Igneel doesn't show up, do you think that the Dragon Slayers alone can do something together if they work together? And if you notice something as well, it's weird that fucking all of Fairy Tail is all fucked up and the Acnologia is showing up. What's up with that? He did that last time in Terrorojima after they just had this fucking knocked out, dragged out battle with all these people, and now he's showing up again after they fought Tartarus. It's like, are you a calculative motherfucker? We know you probably were human at some point, so the fuck? And just overall thoughts of this chapter. I read this shit at like 5 in the morning, and I passed out thinking, I can't wait to talk about this chapter. This fucking shit got me so hyped. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that would be awesome. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day. The ending parts of this chapter is what I love about Fairy Tail. These are my favorite things about Fairy Tail, and these are probably the best things about Fairy Tail that got me so pumped and excited. I am like, fuck yes. For the 400 chapter, Hiro Mashima is making sure that he makes it a special event that we're not going to forget, and I am fucking pumped. Hell's motherfucking yeah. Acnologia versus Igneel. Oh my fucking god. But before we get into all of that regarding the epic parts of the chapter from like midway through on, I need to talk about some of the beginning bits. The beginning of the chapter opens up and we find out that there's 32 minutes left until Face activates, even though clearly at last week's chapter it was stated that it's seconds away from activating. So an inconsistency there, or a character miscalculated, or Face is just all fucking weird. I mean, it's always something else with this fucking thing. So that was one thing that I noticed about this chapter. I was kind of like,